There we go. Okay. I'm recording video now too. So,
Sweet.
welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the one, the only, the GWC podcast. I'm your boy, Shakin' Drake, Austin Drake, here with, of course, Joe Sullivan, Biggles,
Cheers.
and Red Falcon, Fixed by Fitz. Well, that was a race, folks. A little Bristol dirt action. Have that going on. Had some other stuff go on during the week. With some arrests, some penalties. But maybe we can just start with Bristol. What do we think of the dirt race?
I'm over it.
I enjoyed it. I enjoyed the racing.
Ooh, conflicting opinions.
I'm over it. I'm 100%. I hope that's the last one. I thought the race was good, but as usual, Kyle Busch ruined the show.
Kyle Busch didn't ruin the show. The guy calling the cautions ruined the show.
Yeah.
I do agree. The racing was the best racing out of the three, but it does need to go.
Yeah, I liked it. I think you can live on both sides of the fence here. You can say it was a good race, but also say I want concrete back.
Right.
If we want to continue this dirt thing, I'm not against that, but I don't want to take away our best short track to do it.
I agree.
Yeah, I think too. My main argument last time for Bristol switching to dirt was attendance, and I don't think we saw much better attendance than we normally do for the Bristol Spring Race there. Kind of what we talked about a little bit before, like ticket prices were just insane. Like I saw a couple of Twitter screenshots, just like several $100s for tickets there. I don't know if those are like secondary, like people had bought them up and resold them, or if that was like actually what they were going for. But definitely, I didn't buy a ticket for it. If I was any closer, I still wouldn't have bought a ticket for it. But I don't know. Good race. Don't know if I want to keep seeing dirt thrown on the concrete though.
I think the biggest thing that hurts Bristol is the timing. Like everybody just knows, like you're all but guaranteed rain this time of year at Bristol. How many times have we seen the spring race, rain out and have to be raced Monday? I feel like 100 times.
Right.
So I don't know. I think that's a factor. I think cost is a factor and all that stuff. Because from what I understand, there's not like many hotel places to stay around Bristol. I think your options pretty limited, and I heard there's some price gouging that goes on at those places.
Oh,
Plus the tickets ain't cheap, so you put all that together, and it's kind of like, why the hell am I going?
Yeah, and I think Saul mentioned this last week too. Sorry if I cut you off there, Zach.
No, you're good.
If I'm the only real place that's near Bristol is like Knoxville. Like anything else, like any kind of other city, high population, high density area, like Charlotte or even like a Richmond or something like that is several hours away. So if I'm, cost aside, if I'm going to make the trip out to Bristol, probably ain't going to do it twice a year. If I'm going to do it once a year, it's going to be for the night race. So I feel like almost the night race like sucks away attendance from that other one. Like if the spring race was as good and as exciting as the night race, like maybe I would, but the spring race isn't. The dirt race, I don't want to go all the way out there to go to Bristol and then watch them race on dirt there. I'm going to save that money and that time for the actual night race. But
I mean, even make the spring race night race. You don't have to. I
guess that's the question. What makes the night race so prestigious versus the other race?
It's at night.
It looks freaking sick, dude. All right.
You're just out there rattling cages.
If that's the argument. I heard Jeff Burton talking too on I don't know, whatever their NBC shows are, Motor Mouths, whatever. And he was saying something about, why don't we just take it back to old Bristol where you have the bottom lane dominant, take away the progressive banking, so everybody's, shuffling on the bottom and people out of the way, which you gotta kind of wonder how much does it cost to haul this dirt in and out over 3 years versus a concrete repave? Like I wonder what the cost is. Like how much does that cost versus what they've been doing with the dirt every year?
Didn't old Bristol wasn't that asphalt too?
I mean, I guess there's 3 versions of Bristol now. Well, 4 if you count dirt, but there's asphalt, which is original. Then they did concrete where there was a bottom line, and then they added the progressive banking, which is when the top line took over. And that's when everybody said Bristol died.
Yeah.
I mean, I go ahead, Danger.
I don't know what I was going to say. Go ahead.
I was going to say, I don't, to Joe's point of like make them both at night. I mean, I've heard that argument of like, why don't we just make them both night? But it's like, why don't we just make every race Daytona 500? That race always sells out. It's like it loses its novelty a little bit whenever you do it twice. I don't think I like it's tough because it seems like a good answer, but also it's like then are people even going to go to either? If there's two of them, it's like, well, they're just going to split.
That's fair.
I don't know that.
An
argument for both sides there.
I think you do keep it a day. Keep it during the day, but move it closer to the summer so it gets hotter and the track is slicker.
Right.
And you are getting a different experience. You're getting a different type of race because who knows what we see. I don't think we've ever had like a summerish race with Bristol in this configuration, and we got these cars. So, if they're slipping and sliding a little bit, who knows what you see? I don't know.
Hell, make it the July 4th race. I mean, you took it away from Daytona.
Actually, I had an idea about the July 4th race, and it's kind of intertwined with this whole Bristol dirt thing. So, just to kind of go on a little tangent here, my idea instead of doing Bristol dirt, and if we want to keep doing dirt, the big thing I've heard, an argument in going because everybody says go to Eldora, go to Knoxville. Well, Knoxville sucks because Knoxville's not built for our cars; it's built for sprint cars. So we're not going to be able to race well at Knoxville. The other thing I've heard is these dirt tracks aren't really, up to NASCAR standards as far as facilities are concerned.
Right.
They're a lot smaller. They don't have capacity. They don't have, concessions and bathrooms
Parking,
and all that nonsense to hold a NASCAR event. So we have two tracks. One being Fontana, which we are demolishing, and if we are still planning on rebuilding it, we could build a dirt track out there in California and host a race there. We could also take Texas. Everybody fucking hates Texas. Blow it up. SMI, I will say, I think Bristol, funny enough, is a very good layout for a dirt track for our cars.
Right.
SMI has a blueprint for Bristol. Blow up Texas, make a Bristol dirt, like a proper dirt track shaped like Bristol at Texas. You make that your 4th of July event, you're done.
I mean,
Okay.
I like it. Clip it and ship it.
I mean, anything to get rid of Texas, honestly. I mean, just pave it and put a freaking like one of the balls that the motorbikes drive around. Make it one of those. I don't care. Just make it.
Think of how big of an event you can make of a dirt race in Texas on 4th of July. Like, I just feel like that could be a huge thing. You could have sprint cars in that week too. You could just make it a big old thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Marcus Smith, call me. We'll figure it out.
Also, you have to credit GWC podcast.
Absolutely.
If that actually happens, and
we'll just take
we had it first.
Well, they got the big hoss there, so we can just have them put a giant GWC logo on the big hoss and put it like in the middle of the dirt track.
I don't see a problem with that. Seems perfect to me.
Actually, the Cowboys, I mean, nobody really cares about their stadium, so let's just build it in there.
They'll make it a playoff
in the center.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I'm tired of dirt. Like I said last week, I thought it was a gimmick type deal. But what if we ran actual like super late model dirt cars with all the drivers, have their numbers, sponsors, all that on the car, actual dirt cars with NASCAR drivers? Just, I don't know. I'd rather see that than these.
I like the idea of the event, but I wouldn't want that to be like a points thing. Like
exhibition.
Like, I mean, they did that Prelude to a Dream thing. Tony Stewart did it, where they did a bunch of late models, and I forget who all did it. There was a bunch of guys that did it. I like the idea of that. I think that sounds like a really cool event. But I wouldn't want it to be like a points ban.
Yeah. But Bristol, I'm over the dirt. Let's get rid of it. Spring race, we all kind of mentioned maybe push it back a couple weeks. And I don't know if we can move Sonoma up to this spot.
Perfect.
So
something else. Yeah.
I'm a proponent of you should load your schedule heavy road courses in the spring, just because everywhere in the country it rains in the spring a lot.
Yep.
And road courses is one of those places where that doesn't really affect us so much. We can still race in the rain to some extent. I think they should load up at least a couple few road courses in the springtime.
I agree.
Just to sort of avoid, weather issues.
I hate it. Yeah. I mean, one thing that I noticed with the dirt race is like what other dirt race is 250 laps long? And this isn't a point of like the race is too long. I'm not talking about that, but the dirt at the end of that. I mean, they were talking about it the entire last like stage pretty much. I mean, there was nowhere left on that racetrack apart from like the actual top line where there's actually like a cushion, like the dirt wasn't like completely worked in. And I don't know much about dirt racing, but I know that it gets slick when the track's like that. So I mean, into the race, you have a hardly raceable surface. And I mean, it's just a ton of laps to run, especially with a field that size. Like, what other dirt series runs 35, 36 cars? You know what I mean? So, like, not only is it longer, but also it's just getting worked in way more. And it's just by the end of that race, it was still fine racing. And I wish it would have gone to the end. I wish there had been that late caution. But anyway, I thought it was kind of interesting how poor the track looked at the end. Like even after stage 2, rework it or something. I don't know, but I just didn't think it was.
That's what I thought they were gonna do. I thought they would water down and do their dirt stuff and whatever they do to a track to kind of.
They had a truck
bring some life into it. Yeah, they were watering it, but they didn't I've seen the Chili Bowl, and forgive me, I'm not a dirt expert, so I don't really know what the hell I'm talking about. But they have farm equipment that they drive around the track, and it digs the track up, and they do all sorts of sorcery to it and sort of bring some life back into it. I thought they would do that after stage 2, but they didn't. Just on Drake's point, I don't know what a good dirt track is, what a bad dirt track is. The dirt guys seem pleased with it, so I guess if they thought it was good, I suppose it was good.
You're forgetting something important here, though, Zach.
What's that?
We're always right. So
this is true.
Mm-hmm.
So the guys that run dirt all the time don't know what the fuck they're talking about, as it turns out.
No, absolutely not.
That's what we've just decided. That's what we've learned on the podcast.
Yeah, exactly.
I have raced dirt, and when the track gets like that, it sucks. It's slick. It acts like ice. And you could kind of tell with how Bell was driving it. He was just throwing it in there and using the wall to kind of turn them towards the end. They talked about it on the broadcast that he did it 4 or 5 times towards the end of the race. It runs like ice. It's super slick. I've heard them mention though with these cars. Yeah, with these cars, once you get so much rubber down that it actually starts gripping a little bit better. But obviously, I haven't driven Bristol dirt in a stock car.
I mean, I don't think we really saw that happening either, though. I mean, we saw people try to make passes on the bottom. They just couldn't do anything without just absolutely sending it in there. And essentially, I mean, was it Reddick passing Briscoe or whatever? He did or Bout did put him in the wall trying to get by him because he couldn't.
Slide job.
Yeah, he couldn't get anything to happen on the bottom. So I thought that was kind of again, like I said, I wish it would have ended under green because I feel like Reddick was just going to absolutely send it there in the corner, and we might have had a repeat of, was it last year when that happened?
Yeah, last year. Yep.
Which was kind of a chaotic finish. I don't know if you want that every year, but it's like at least if we're going to run dirt, I don't know, run it right, fix the track, or do a whole heat race system, not just for qualifying, for the whole race, maybe do a all-star format or something. Again, maybe this is more of an exhibition thing, but I don't know. That's just kind of my 2 cents on it. But overall, it was a race. It's definitely a race.
It was a race.
It was a race. I agree.
Speaking of the race ending under caution, though, I did feel like we kind of had some inconsistent yellows thrown there.
My.
Oh boy, did we!
We had McDowell doing the full 360 to throw the caution immediately, and then not. I think it was later that stage or early next. McDowell did it twice. I know the first time through the caution, and I know who was it? Oh, it was Eric Jones. Same thing. Spun 360, kept rolling. They kept it green. So I don't know if they saw the McDowell thing and learned from it and held on, but it did feel like there was a lot of inconsistency with those kind of things on when they were throwing cautions and when they weren't.
Yeah, we've seen it over and over that NASCAR just wants that late caution to bunch everybody up and put on a show. And man, it's ruining the season to a certain point because it's happening every week and it doesn't need to be. And honestly, if Reddick was driving the hell out of that car, and I think he would have caught Bell and put on a really good show for the last 5 laps if that caution didn't come out.
Yeah.
But instead, it just, I don't know, Bell got a good start. I think Reddick and somebody else got into it a little bit, didn't they, on the restart? Had this huge buffer. Briscoe fell back, and then it was Reddick trying to chase him down, which, man, he was flying. Like, if you go back and watch those last couple of laps, and when they showed Reddick, it was impressive.
Yeah, guy was moving.
I'm perfectly happy with the way the race ended. I have no issues with it. Great call, NASCAR.
That's
There was some great officiating, and the same thing with last year. Now that I think about this Bristol dirt thing, I'm really starting to like it. Really starting to enjoy it.
It was. I mean, I know you're somewhat joking there, Zach, but I mean, it was cool to see a dirt guy actually win it.
They made a big deal about it on the broadcast.
They did, yeah. But good old C-Bell out there, dirt
boy.
aficionado. It was good to see the true dirt guy win, not the self-proclaimed dirt guy like Kyle Larson. Mm-hmm. So it's good to see the real talent shining out.
Spinning out, watched.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, it wasn't just Bell either. Andrew's just saying Reddick was up there, Briscoe was up there, you had Stenhouse up there. They
got top 6.
All the dirt guys showed up this year, and that might be they were all praising the track and how good the track was. So maybe that has something to do with it. Just going back to the officiating though, I think a lot of it was NASCAR didn't want to drag this out. They didn't want it to look like too much of a clown show, but at the same time, you got to be consistent in your officiating, and if this is the kind of thing you want to do and put these guys in this kind of position, then this is the sort of thing that might happen. We get a lot of single car spins because at the end of the day, our cars aren't really built to run dirt.
Right.
They were probably a little. I'd argue Gen 6 was probably going to be better at it than this car, but then with Gen 7 we decided we wanted to make it more like a road car, like an IMSA GT car, which is even less of a dirt car. So it's we've moved further away from the dirt world, and we're still trying to do it. So I don't know. I think all these single car spins, they're just going to happen, and I think NASCAR just wanted to kind of keep it moving. And keep moving along, and then it just makes them look bad when they have single car spins. They don't throw a caution, and then Kyle Busch spins off into pit lane by himself, and then they're like, "Oh, caution!"
Throw it.
Yep.
It just it's not a great look.
Golden Boy Bell, they just had to secure
they had to do
win, it. Gosh,
it just sort of adds credibility to the criticism that NASCAR is a little opportunistic. Oh my god, I can't say it.
Yeah,
Opportunistic with their cautions, which how many times have we all said it? Oh, they need a caution just to save this boring race, and sure enough, somebody just grazes the wall. Caution. We saw it at the All-Star race last year. Was that last year? Was Stenhouse?
Yeah, it was like a half spin, and he saved it or something.
Yeah, it was he just grazed the wall, and they called a caution. And then Blaney puts his window net down and caused that whole fiasco.
Gosh,
It was 2 years ago, wasn't it?
That
was it last year?
I think it was last year.
It was
at Texas.
Yeah. It was last year, because that was the only race he won.
Do we hate that though?
What's that?
We're all calling, we need a caution to make this exciting at the end, and then NASCAR throws a caution. How much do we actually hate them doing that?
It depends where my bias is during the race.
It's great.
If
depends on who's leading at that point. Yeah.
If I'm trying to be objective and take all my bias out of it, I just want consistency. So I want something to be a call every time. I don't think slides and someone getting sideways should be a caution. Even if I'm wanting one at some point, I don't think those types of things should. To me, they sort of land in the world of the old debris cautions that we used to hate. Just someone getting slightly sideways and we throw a caution for that. I don't think that should happen.
Yeah, I mean, a caution's supposed to be if there's, danger, right?
Yeah.
Right.
Was Kyle Busch in danger? Was he endangering anybody else? He's way out of the race line. He was on pit road basically. So there's no reason for that caution.
You call caution for that, but you don't call one for Ryan Blaney spinning right in the middle of the field.
Yeah.
It's
from the front row.
It's funny you do mention that though, Andrew, because I had that same exact thought of when I think it was this week, it might have been last week even I thought about it, but I was like, the true nature of a caution is there is an obstruction on the track. Mm-hmm. The drivers are in danger. The obstruction, if it's a driver or whatever's in danger, we need to slow everyone down so we can get this clear and not put everyone in danger. And you see that in IMSA, you see that in Formula One, you see that in a bunch of other motorsport where truly full safety cars, full course cautions are in an event where the track Like, if someone's in a dangerous zone, someone's stopped on track, can't move, or like it's creating a danger for that driver and for all the other drivers. But in NASCAR, it's like, oh, someone got a little sideways. Oh, throw it. Get the caution out there. It's like, okay, what? Like, they were a little sideways. They saved it even, but you saw smoke, so you threw a caution. Like, I understand there's that element of safety. And you don't want to wait too long to like, oh, is he going to fully spin? Then he fully spins, and you got a guy coming 180 miles an hour behind him and slam into him. Like, you don't want that either. But it's just it's interesting how different cautions are in NASCAR versus any other form of motorsport. In my thought, you know what I mean? Like, I get we're on an oval too, and so the danger is always a little bit more imminent because it's a shorter track. But it also feels like a little excessive sometimes, just in the way cautions are thrown.
Yeah, and I mean, the problem is that with them saying, all right, we're not going to throw cautions, like that ruins that whole argument. Like, you have cars spinning and like self-spins, completely spinning, being backwards at a half-mile track, not even at a super speedway, it's 2.5 miles, a half-mile track. And they're like, nah, we're not going to throw a caution. So it's like, yeah, I agree with you. Like, a caution is supposed to be about safety, and I didn't really think about it until I was listening to DBC and TJ was having to tell Brad, oh, they're spinning, but you got to keep your foot in it. Got to keep going because it might not be a caution. Like, that's not really a safe situation because you don't know what's going to happen. Where's that car going to go and who's going to hit who? So I don't know.
Right.
It was just a bad look. I think we just need to try to stay off that entertainment thing and calling cautions when we just really need one, or in this case, not calling them when we needed them because we didn't want to look like clowns. If a caution is for safety, then it has to be when there's a danger. It has to be called every time.
Right. Yeah.
Now, what is that danger line? That's sort of
a little subjective sometimes, but
yeah.
But speaking of bad looks and entertainment, well, the good old Fox up to their regular tricks this week.
Oh boy.
God, I mean, I'm blown away every week with the lack of enthusiasm. Like, it maybe it took it being pointed out to me, but like now that it obviously, there's a little bit of confirmation bias there at that point, but it's so tough to watch. Like, even that one aspect of the broadcast, like, there seemed like no excitement when stuff happens, but overall too, just, I mean, everything AV wise or like, technical directing wise was just, it's just poor all around. So the good old Fox.
It's an ESPN Plus broadcast, and it's just all the camera cuts, and they're like, oh, this guy's might be wrecking in 4, but they're keeping the camera on on turn 1 for like, okay, well, I want to know what's happening in turn 4.
Right.
I don't want to know 10 minutes later after you take your commercial break. I want to know now.
Yeah.
Do your side by side and show me turn 4. What's happening?
Yeah. It's their cuts are just so bad. And it just goes back to what we talked about before, a lack of awareness. Whoever's directing the cameras is completely disconnected from the booth and not even remotely watching what's going on. They're just like, they just have a timer, and whenever the timer goes off, they switch cameras, and it's like set at 3.5 seconds because they're just flipping. We had these moments of, I don't know, somebody was leading and second place was chasing them down. It's like, oh, this is kind of exciting. They're getting closer. I can see the intervals getting closer, and it'll show them for a second. Then we're just going to show some random stuff. And then we're going to show a guy looking at the race. Then we're going to show some kids, and then I don't know. Let's look at the big screen in the middle.
Gotta
they
have
just
the kids.
jump. Gotta have the kid.
For the kids, baby.
FTK.
And then the broadcast is talking about stuff. Oh, there's a guy spinning, and we're looking at, I don't know, some flowers or some shit. Like, it's just so bad.
Yeah.
Oh, McDowell did it again and never showed it.
No.
At all. It's like, come on.
Took them half an hour to show the suck and self spin. Like, okay.
It's a half mile track, and you can't keep track of what cameras are where, and you can't even catch all the action. Like,
Like,
you're getting 10 camera changes a lap.
Right.
And it's all, showing the same car. It's like, hey, can you guys follow a couple other people here?
Like, I'm sure in ESPN Plus production, and like, I watch ESPN Plus a lot because, App State is on that group of 5 probs, but like, those productions are run by college kids, and they are better than Fox.
Fun fact too.
And they have all their issues too. But yeah, go ahead.
Fun fact: Joe's actually an App State fan after Kyle
Actually-
Busch ran in App State.
It's true.
App
It's
State
true.
paint scheme. So he's a big
My
Kyle Busch
diploma's
guy.
right here.
Big
My
Kyle
App
Busch
State
guy
diploma's
saw
right
an App
here.
State scheme. Said, you know what? Since Kyle supports him, I'll support him. And now he's
Diploma
Die
from
hard.
2017 before Kyle got the
Did Kyle
App State
sign it?
schemes. Thank you.
yeah.
He did not.
So Joe chose his school actually based on Kyle Busch's
That's
car.
not true.
100% true. Sponsorship works.
Yeah.
Oh Lord
Yeah.
have mercy.
a
Those cars are
podcast
actually
fact.
right there. Not you mention it.
Is that
the Kyle Busch
shelf.
one?
So
For our audio only listeners, Joe's pointing to his bookshelf where he has several. Just
Two.
the entire shelf.
Two.
The entire shelf is just covered in Kyle Busch
Okay.
stuff. Actually, the
couldn't
entire
get it
thing
out.
I
Just
have to show them
absolutely
now.
covered.
Oh gosh.
Bad radio
So
here, but we're
speaking-
doing it anyway. But
Bad
Yeah,
radio.
speaking of
These
video.
two guys.
speaking of video, Andrew, what are you saying?
Yeah, we're videoing this.
Yeah, first video
You can see our
video
pretty faces.
podcast.
Yeah, I see our beautiful faces, especially Joe's. Actually,
Yes.
this whole recording's just been Joe's face. I don't know if I told you all that, but I actually just have it full screen.
Rate.
on
This is a race win die cast, by the way. Just
there.
class
See,
of
that's why Joe
2020.
got it because he has
Yeah.
all the Kyle Busch race wins. So
yeah,
Yep.
I love Kyle Busch so much.
there it is.
Like,
Clip
Oh, we
it. Someone
did
clip
it.
it.
Clip
Someone
it.
clip it right
Clip
now.
wish I didn't say that one, but you know.
Yeah, I'm clipping
Whatever.
that, sending that every race now from now on. Joe, I hope you know.
Why do I say the things?
So I don't know if
do?
anybody's told you, but it's okay to be a Kyle Busch fan now.
It is.
Everybody loves Kyle
Now
Busch.
he's off
He's
Joe
met-
Gibbs.
I've liked him slightly more because he's Chevy now. Only that much more.
It's fair.
But
You were always a fan, don't lie.
he's still
Yeah.
a beehole. No, I guess he was a Hendrick guy for a while, but
Yeah, he was.
Good old Fox.
people forget. Yeah, so Fox, we hate him.
It's funny because one thing I think would be great, and I wish all broadcasts did this for races, was to show more side-by-side cams. I love when they do side-by-side cameras because you can watch the leaders and you can watch the action mid-pack or you can watch whatever else is
They
going
used to
on.
do it all the
You
time.
see it all the time. But even
NBC
then,
does
all
it
the
great.
and this is just back to NASCAR fans complaining about everything. I see people, why are NASCAR doing these side-by-side cameras? I just want, show me the full damn screen. It's like, sorry, you only have a 12-inch TV screen in your trailer, man. But you really need a like
Ew.
side-by-side's great. But it's just like, I don't know. It's just that was a frustration for me. But I do wish they did more side-by-side so we could watch more consistent action. I think that's an easy fit. Obviously, you don't want it the whole time, but I want it more than they do it. I feel like Fox hardly ever does it.
Especially on a short track too. You're gonna
yeah.
have action all the time. Like at Martinsville, you'll probably have like, a couple guys battling for the lead, but man, back here in 12th to 15th, guys are 3 wide, they're door banging. They're
Mhm.
like, I want to see both.
Yeah.
You know, obviously, we can't do side by side the whole time, but especially
But-
stage 3, if people are moving, they got to get to the front. Let's see more of that.
Yeah, but if they went side by side, then they'd have to take one of the 10 cameras off the leaders, and we know they can't do that.
That's a good
That's
point.
true.
And how many times too do you like? Obviously, going to a race in person is just great. Like it could be a horrible race, but you're still there and having fun. But I can think of several instances where I've been to a race, thought it was a great race, it was great action throughout the pack, lots going on, and then I checked Discord later. And I was like, that race sucked. That was so boring. I'm like, golly, man. Like I thought it was a great. There was so much going on in the field. They didn't show any of that, and they're like, no, like they didn't
What was
show
it,
any
the
of that.
600
Yeah.
2 years ago, I think you were
Yeah.
at? And,
Yeah.
like, we're all shitting on it in Discord. You're there in person.
It was
You're
a
like,
great
"It was
race.
awesome."
Yeah.
It was like,
Awesome.
it sucked. It was
Yeah.
like one of the worst races
think-
I've ever watched.
I think Roval last year too, like the same thing. Like everyone, like, that was an okay race, and meanwhile we're like, this is great. Like there's stuff going on everywhere. Like what's going on? And again, part of that is being there at the race. But I mean, I know I mentioned this. I think we mentioned this last week. Again, for good old Formula One. But like those races suck, but they're still
they do.
fun to watch because the
The
coverage
production
is
is
that
great.
good. The
Yeah.
coverage is fantastic. Like they get so into like. The one time an overtake happens the whole race, they're like hyped, they're like screaming, they're pumped, like a lot
Yeah.
going on. You're getting like it's amazing how much a broadcast can make or break a race and like make or break just people's enjoyment of watching it and how much Fox drops the ball on that
Yeah.
all the time.
Because with F1,
Hey.
we all know Max or maybe Checo twice a year is going to win, but there's so much action elsewhere, and obviously I think they focus on it a little bit more, because obviously Max is 10 miles ahead of everybody, so they can only show that so much. But oh man, Lando's making moves, or I don't know, whatever. They make their 2 passes a race, but I agree. It's much better production overall with F1.
Yeah.
Predator production.
So,
Chris Hansen.
Drake mentioned the 1 pass per race for F1. So I don't know if you guys listened to Actions Detrimental. Hamlin
Yes.
said that there was only 1 pass for the lead. Now
I did
can
hear
think
that.
of at least
Green flag
2.
pass for the lead. Yeah.
There's still more than 1. Because you had the battle where Reddick got passed, and then where Reddick ended up passing Kyle Busch again, which technically was 2 passes because Dylan had it for a split second, but
Yeah.
not even, that was a 3-wide pass for the lead. And let's see, I don't know. I just feel like there was better racing overall, but
There
I
weren't
still
many
don't
passes
feel like
for the
that's
lead.
right.
No, yeah, there
There
were
was-
a few. Green
If there
flag,
was
yeah.
2, there I doubt there was a 3rd.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, there wasn't many passes for the lead. So he's not entirely wrong. He might be wrong with the exact number, but he's not entirely wrong.
I don't think it was aero dependent like we've seen it before, though.
No, I think it's line dependent. It's line dependent in these cars. Like they're not dirt cars. I don't know what to tell you. So like they can't do the stuff that like a late model can or that a sprint car can. They can't change lanes and do all different types of stuff. There's probably only 1 or 2 grooves that are fast, and they're probably right on top of each other.
Yeah, the slick track didn't help it.
I mean, you saw back in the pack they were all running 3 wide and everything, but in the front they were all usually running the same line ish.
Yeah.
They just didn't have anywhere to go in the back, so they're just you're 3 wide because where else are you gonna go?
Yeah.
Well, I know where one person went. Larson. He went into everybody.
Oh, well, yeah,
He's been doing that a lot since Gen 7.
yeah,
Man.
Haley last year at the Clash and the pre shenanigans.
I mean, I can't remember them all off the top of my head, but I know a lot of people have been pissed off at him.
Oh yeah, actually, most notably
Yeah.
wrecking his teammate Chase Elliott.
I don't know. All right, calm down. I don't know if that's most notably.
That's really the only one that really sticks out in my mind. Completely
The thing
unbiased.
that makes him basically Hitler.
I said the
is,
Haley. I said the Haley one first, so get off me.
I mean,
most notably,
Auto
it'll go
club
on his
to
gravestone.
2020.
But I mean,
Kyle
Kyle
cleared
Larson, he
himself.
lived like he wrecked Chase Elliott.
Most notably.
but so he cleared himself, puts Priest into the wall, right? And then later in the race, and I commented in Discord that Larson's going to get himself wrecked. He tried to do it to somebody else, and then drove across the track and almost hit Bell, who was trying to pass him low. It's like, dude was just flying all over the track trying to keep anybody from passing him.
Yeah.
And then Priest finally gets him back, does the same thing, and then Larson, in my mind,
Wrecks
turns
himself.
left to try to wreck Priest and wrecks himself. Which,
I think there was
$50,000 and 25 points there, buddy.
Was that picture in Discord where it was literally him
Yeah.
on the straight turning left into Priest, and Priest is just like, I don't know what to do, bro.
Yeah.
I posted that to piss Stangle off.
Yeah, that's. Go ahead.
I want to see the wheel data. Let's get a sign out there
Yeah.
for Larson.
I think my question is, or go ahead, Joe. Sorry, I cut you off.
I was gonna say Priest just got loose, so I mean all you gotta do apparently is deny that you wrecked somebody.
That, though.
Yeah.
And we'll see. And we had Tuesday night, and I'm
penalties,
assuming
right?
Priest isn't getting any penalties because they would have announced it by now. So
I don't know. They've
guess-
been doing stuff on Wednesday too, so who knows?
yeah, I don't know. All you gotta do is not have a podcast apparently. So
Yeah.
It's just so stupid. You want to talk about actions detrimental? Like, let the guy get out and say he was racing me like an asshole, so I raced him like an asshole.
Right.
yeah.
Like, let Priest own that for himself and show
Well,
I'm not gonna take shit.
so far they have. Let
Yeah.
that happen.
But I mean, he's not allowed to say he did it. He has to say, "Oh, I just got loose."
That's true. I mean, he said a little more than that.
He's
Did he
like-
not?
he's
When
like
they
game
were
on.
asking him,
It was
when the
heavily
interviewers-
insinuated. And
I mean, he would talk around it, but like when the interviewers were actually in his face asking what happened, like at the end of the race, he's like, "I just got loose. I just got loose."
Yeah.
Sound like Kyle Busch when I'm just here so I don't get fined thing.
Yeah.
That was-
Well, no, I think after he broke his toe link, him and his crew chief were like,
Oh, they were on the
game
radio.
on.
Just,
They were
going
they were very much beating around the bush, but
Yeah, you would
I
talk
mean-
about gaslighting. Oh my god.
Yeah,
This
right.
crew chief is spotter.
That's
So
funny.
I don't know. We'll see if NASCAR does anything, but I kind of doubt. I'm like, I don't want them to do anything, but they set
No,
the
I don't
precedent.
I didn't want him to do anything with Denny. I don't want him to do anything with
Yeah.
this. This is good for the
But
sport.
they
It's
but they
what
was
it's
like,
built
hey,
on.
we're gonna find Denny. So I don't know, but
Speaking of penalties, had a few of those come out.
Yeah.
oh boy,
We had HMS getting hit yet again,
Again.
randomly.
Very
Pulled,
randomly.
24 and the 48 pulled.
Very random.
Something wrong with
indeed.
those ones. And they,
Not so random anymore.
Not so random anymore. Kind of repeat
Nope.
offenders.
Apparently, it hasn't been random for years, according to Bacchus.
Really?
Somebody said, I forget who he said it came from, but basically it's at NASCAR's discretion. It has been. They just, I guess the name at one time was random, and the name just sort of stuck. But supposedly it hasn't been truly random for years.
I mean, it kind of makes sense. I mean, you catch someone doing something, you're gonna why not check
Yeah.
them next week? You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
are you still doing this? Have you learned?
Mhm.
You know,
Yeah.
have you really has this penalty affected you enough to make you be more careful and not do it, or at least hide it better? Apparently not, because 24 and the 48 losing 60 points, crew chief suspension, and money fine, and they are not appealing. Which
Nope.
Yeah.
I was
Not
a little
appealing.
surprised by, especially
I'm
considering
not.
the results of the last appeal. Andrew, you say you're not surprised.
Yeah, I'm not
No.
either.
Not worth
Zach, not
fighting it
surprised.
anymore.
Joe, not surprised. Wow, okay,
It's-
I'm alone here.
Joe
Well,
is
I mean,
surprised.
I'm
That's cap.
surprised. I'm surprised, but I'm not, because it's like, why keep picking this fight with NASCAR? It's clear they got
Yeah.
a hit out for you. Just
Yeah,
eat it and move
I
along.
get it,
And
but you appeal it last time and lose the points penalty. So
I don't disagree.
Why
I'm,
not do it
I'm
again?
shocked they didn't, but I get why they didn't. I'm still
Yeah.
shocked they didn't.
like
But
you played, I guess maybe you played with fire once and got lucky, and now
yeah,
you're like, okay,
because
whatever,
now
let it go.
because
But
NASCAR, because NASCAR changed the appeal rules too. Because now
that's true.
they can't get all their points back even if they wanted to. So
Forgot about that.
what, they spend all the money on appeal to get 10 points back? Doesn't seem worth it.
Yeah, that's a good.
This
point.
is NASCAR being upset about, HMS winning their appeal. And then colleague not winning theirs, right?
Yeah,
So this is NASCAR saying, no, you're getting a penalty.
Yeah.
And I think Hendrick is just like, you know what? Yeah, we're going to take this one. We're going to be done. Thank you. Have a nice day. This is over. Type
They
of
still got
Yeah.
40 points back. If you think like the original penalty,
Yeah.
they still got, and it's only 2 cars, not 4.
That's true.
Yeah.
So I mean, they're kind of making out pretty good, even if they just take this penalty and walk with it.
And the funny thing is too, it's like NASCAR still kind of has its hand over the appeals board, as much as it kind of seems like they're changing the rules for it, so they obviously have power over it. So
well, I
some
mean,
degree.
like we're
To some degree,
saying we're saying don't blame NASCAR for letting Hendrick slide, but at the same time, you kind of do, because they
They
built
didn't-
the
yeah.
system
Right.
and
Yeah.
let all the holes in it. So they designed it the way it is,
They
so
made
it
the bed.
does kind of fall on them a little bit.
Right.
Yeah.
Who gives final approval for who's on the appeals board, and who structures everything and all that stuff. So
Right.
Yeah.
I don't know. Some fault does definitely still lie with them. Not all of it. Definitely some of it.
And it's I mean, transitioning to the Denny penalty getting upheld too. It's
Right.
like, what the heck? And I don't know if everyone listened to his emergency podcast, and I thought it was a great kind of look behind the curtain. But it seemed like he seemed very confident he was getting that overturned,
Mhm.
and then they were like, nope,
Nope.
Nope. Get
just
fucked.
kidding. Yeah.
Yeah,
And-
fucked.
And that's where NASCAR amended that rule to where the appeals panel can release their findings. And I would like that for the Hendrick, for the colleague, for Denny, for all these penalties. Like, why did they rule the way they did? Because like with the Hendrick, they said you did break the rule, but here are your points back. Why,
Mm.
And great, I'm happy as a Hendrick fan. I'm great. We got our points
You're a
back.
Hendrick
But
fan?
why? No, why'd you ask? So
It's a Kyle Busch
it
fan,
is-
remember?
Right. Yeah.
Mhm.
yeah. Don't ignore the 2 Hendrick shelves right here. So
He drove for Hendrick. You said it yourself.
Yeah.
Sure.
you're
A
true.
lot of
Yeah, I
five
don't
cars
know.
up there.
And also I think it was it was Denny. I think it was either Denny or on DVC where these appeals meetings, there's no like notes or recordings or anything like that. Like in a courtroom, everything's recorded. You can't lie. But in these, we don't know what goes on, who said what. Apparently Denny can't rebuttal if someone's like, you did this. He can't be like, well, that's actually not true. Here's proof. He has to wait his turn. So I would definitely like to see a little bit more of a cleaner appeals process for sure. And more transparent, I guess is the word I'm going for.
Stream it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
NASCAR TTV, dude.
Judge Judy NASCAR edition.
Oh, I would watch that.
I would watch that, yeah.
Did y'all see that Jury
yeah.
Duty show? It's a great show.
No.
Yeah, I gotta watch it. It's hilarious. Yeah, I agree. I wish it was a little more transparent. We kind of knew anything behind closed doors with stuff like that, or then suddenly Hendrick's getting this appeals approved and colleagues not, or whatever. It's like, it looks shady, especially when it's behind closed doors. And it's easy to then make those assumptions of like Hendrick bias, but maybe it's not. I don't know, but yeah.
Well,
Can't
the
tell
one
me
that
any
gets
different.
me is the colleague one. So we knew that they only took just Haley's, right? Justin Haley's,
Right.
and not Dingers. And now we find out that it was only one of the two that was on Haley's car that was modified. It was like, okay, like that's kind of.
So 1 out of
right?
4 of all of colleagues because they had 2 cars.
Yeah.
Mhm.
But to make it even better, we find out that Hendrick got the replacements
From college.
from colleague.
Yeah.
So it's just like,
Oh, Lord.
oh, it's
It's a mess.
what
Like
a shit show.
Yeah.
you
And we
can't
should-
tell me Hendrick didn't know what they were doing. You can't tell me that it wasn't completely on purpose and that like it's just the whole thing's just fucked.
And we should say colleague, they're doing the final appeal too, so they're gonna try and shoot their shot one more time and be like, hey, Hendrick got their points back. Do me
Right.
too.
Yeah.
It'll be interesting if colleague does, win their final appeal.
Well, apparently, and another thing, Denny, like again, another thing that I learned listening to the Denny podcast is, the first appeal, it's I think NASCAR has to prove
Guilt
it's
and
like
then
the
prove
burden of
innocence.
proof. Yeah, and then it flips for the final appeal. So Denny's going to be kind of on the offensive, or colleague would be on the offensive, for this one. So we'll see if that changes the mind of that final appeal member.
Right. Well, speaking of appeals courts and courts in general,
That's
and
quite the segue there.
penalties in general. We got a real major one here with Cody Ware being arrested for felony
Jeez.
assault.
Not great.
Not a
Can't be doing
great
that.
thing to
No.
do, believe it or
No.
not.
Honestly, innocent until proven guilty. We should say that, but
Yeah, I
if
mean, Eddie
what's being
DeHaan,
what's
everyone was
being
quick to crucify him for assaulting
That's true.
a pregnant woman. When everything came out, he was fine, and people still wanted to cancel him. But obviously, so the court of Twitter is obviously the ultimate final say.
Yes.
But instead of proving guilty, who knows? But I think someone mentioned his brother was arrested for the same thing.
Yeah.
a few years ago, yeah. I mean, yeah, of course, innocent until proven guilty, but what's being reported, not great. And if it's true, then lock him up and throw away the key.
Yeah, I mean, it's sad to see because clearly, if it's happening in both of them, maybe it's a bigger issue, like all around. Like obviously, I don't want to dive into the psychology and and everything of it, but
I'll get my wife on here. She can give us the.
perfect. Well, she's currently over here, Lindsay. Lindsay's
Oh.
here. So, well, I don't know. I'm not
Oh,
sure
that's
right now, so maybe she is over there. But me and Zach have the same wife. Their names are linked.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The internet's not going to get that joke. They're going to go to a really weird direction with it.
I've refused to elaborate. Me and Zach have the same wife.
They're actually sitting right next to each other. That's why Zach
Allegedly.
is the background.
Yeah, right. Yeah, obviously NASCAR suspending him. I mean, indefinitely. Obviously, if things come out clear. Same with
Absolutely,
Eddie.
yeah.
It's gonna be he'll come back. But yeah, assault. I'm reading the WSOC TV. Us Charlotteans know that well. Channel 9. Eyewitness News saying that felony booked into custody on Monday for charges of assault on a female and assault by strangulation, inflicting serious injury according to online jail records. Yeah, so not a good look.
No.
Whole lot of not good.
A whole lot of not good. So, good old Rick Ware Racing. It's fantastic all around. Yeah, pretty wild there. Not, I mean, yeah, pretty wild.
I don't know. How do we go on from that, guys?
Yeah,
I don't know.
I'm trying to think of a good segue. So
Mexico.
speaking of, yeah, yeah. Speaking of, I'm trying to think of a good segue. Speaking of formats.
Can I see my dog back there?
Oh my! Speaking of dogs and dog legs, sometimes tracks have dog legs, and a track that's going to be run into the All-Star race.
Ooh.
I
have a better one. How about underdogs? We had a bunch of underdogs do really well this week.
We did. My man,
That's true.
Michael McDowell coming in 11th, I believe.
Yep.
Great.
Austin Dillon third.
Ricky fourth.
He was on fire.
Justin
Yeah.
Haley
Austin
sixth.
Dillon.
Dude, yeah. I thought he had a chance to win it.
If
Yeah,
you want to
really
consider Ty Gibbs an underdog because he's a rookie, 10th again. So
Yeah.
there's that.
Yeah,
4
Todd
top 10s in a
Gilliland,
row.
8th. McDowell,
Old
11th,
dirt.
like I said.
Old dirt track Todd, as they call him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Our
never heard him
favorite
called that,
boy, Corey LaJoy, not running so hot, ran 30th. But
Yeah.
is that his worst
Tough.
finish of the year?
I think
It is.
so. Outside of maybe any wrecks, like his lowest running finish.
I'm trying to look it
You'd
up
have
right
to.
now.
You'd have to look that up. I don't know off the top
Is-
of my head.
Well, we're looking that up.
Yeah,
so
it is. It
this
is his
week,
worst.
when odds came out, I put a quarter on Corey LaJoy to win. And a quarter will get you $250. And I'm pretty sure he started on pit road and was instantly 2 laps down. So,
The old Joe official
probably-
race strategy.
yeah.
Yeah,
I
not
don't
worth
do that
bets
anymore. I
ever,
don't do that anymore. That was when I started.
I know.
But
Now he just doesn't
it's
qualify.
some bad luck.
Yeah, no, I don't qualify.
That is his worst finish of the season. His worst before that was 26th at Phoenix. But
Good
I
for
mean,
him.
honestly, 30th to be his worst. This many races in, not bad for that team. Like not Corey himself, but like as the team. I mean, pretty good finish.
And speaking of odds, my favorite bit every week is Zach posting the the bet at MGM with Kyle and Austin Dillon, where it's like Kyle's like, oh, plus 300 and Austin Dillon's plus $1 million to win a race.
Yeah.
I mean, him top 5 probably would have been a fine bet this past week if anyone took that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
People
would've
forget the Dillon boys started on dirt.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I'll have to remember that if we ever race dirt again.
Yeah. There you go. Keep
Hopefully not.
Yeah.
I mean, Ty was even up there for a little while.
He was.
He was, yeah.
A little bit of pit strategy, but yeah,
Well,
he held on to it.
moving on to next week, we got old Martinsville.
The old paperclip.
The old paperclip. First.
Oh yeah.
Is this gonna be? I feel like I'm stupid for not remembering the schedule right now. I mean, this is gonna be the. I mean, Richmond is a short track. I guess.
It's a short track.
I mean, yeah, but I don't know. It's just not.
It's a faster short track.
It's a faster short track with.
It's
decent
an intermediate
making.
short track.
Yeah,
That's
it's
the
got-
action track, baby. Richmond's a short track.
It
Have you walked
was
that-
when they
It
used
was.
Steeler back in the day.
Yeah.
Not anymore.
This year put on a great race.
It
I don't
did.
know what you're talking about, Joe.
Relatively.
Yeah.
Early.
But this is like a flat short track. First flat short track. Which
There
I
you
guess
go.
there's not a lot of those, but when I think of short track, I think Martinsville. So I'm excited to see this new package run at what I think of as like a quintessential short track. You know what I mean? Excited to see how that runs.
Yeah, I mean this is the short track that when they said new short track package, I instantly thought it's built for Martinsville
Yeah, right.
specifically. So yeah, I have a lot of hope for it after seeing what it did at Coda, because I do think Coda has a lot of slow, tight corners that are, I mean, it's not like they're Martinsville corners, but I mean it's the same sort of thing where Martinsville is a see you, Joe.
And
Oh,
back
Jeff.
get some
You know,
Reese's.
Oh,
Those slow, tight bends and all that. So I don't know. I'm feeling pretty good about it. I have some optimism.
Yeah,
I'm not so.
Ooh.
Not so.
Ooh, descent in the ranks.
I just don't see how this arrow change is going to help at Martinsville.
Yeah.
I mean, a short spoiler. I don't see it.
Hell Dakota.
I know that's what I'm saying. Is I had the same thought, exact same thought, Andrew.
I mean, we all did. We were all like, "How is
Yeah.
downforce going to matter?"
At a track like that, but I think, again, I know we're the experts here, we know everything, but I think that it's making more of an effect on slow speed corners than we anticipated. So I'm hopeful. I appreciate your cautious skepticism there. Where, sorry, Andrew, for our video viewers here on our YouTube page, Zach has a thing for recording people eating food, and Joe just grabbed some Reese's.
That is why I'm muted.
Joe has some. It's not even about the audio. Well, it's somewhat about the audio, but Zach's bid is to record that, and now Joe's eating Reese's. So Andrew said Zach getting ready to record Joe eating. So that's why. Sorry for the pause there. Bad radio, but great video.
Here to provide content, folks.
That's how you know you've made some legendary content, though. Is Andrew remembered, and I didn't even think about it.
As soon as he said he was going to get something, he was like, here it comes!
He's in the thing. He's doing the thing. Anyway.
I didn't have his phone out, recording it.
Yeah, flash on and everything.
I think I've gotten just about all of us that stream.
Oh yeah, you've got me for sure. You got Richie playing.
Andrew, I got doing the yeah thing.
Yeah.
Oh god, you gotta be careful when you're streaming because Zach is out there lurking.
Yeah.
He's always watching.
He's always watching, Wazowski.
But yeah, I don't see how the package is gonna help. Honestly, and Coda's a little bit faster. I mean,
it is, but I feel like we still saw effects in the slow corners too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, I guess coming out of the turns, you did see him getting a little bit sideways, which we didn't see before. But
I mean, I'm not writing it off saying it's going to be a banger. I'm just feeling optimistic.
Yeah,
it can't be any worse, right?
Right.
Yeah,
that's a great point. Yeah.
Is it going to be a Martinsville race? I think a Martinsville race should. Is it going to look like what I think it should? Probably not. Probably still not going to be quite there yet, but I'm hoping it's at least better than last year.
Are we even going to get to try it though? Because showers likely after 3 p.m.
Ooh,
we got them rain tires.
Rain tires, baby.
Oh man, I would love a short track rain race. I want to see what it's like.
Yeah.
Hey, let's get it.
Yeah, they've been kind of floating it by us the past.
I don't know why they didn't test it out at Richmond on Saturday when it was raining.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know that nothing they would have learned that day would have applied to the race the next day. Yes, but it gives you a chance to test this tire, test the package in a not live race situation. Why would you not want to jump on that? Just have a couple guys go out there just to see. I don't know how quick does the track dry out with cars on it. What's the spray like? All that stuff. Why?
Because had we done that and someone wrecked, people would have been up in arms. Why NASCAR putting these teams out there?
Let them use the
short on parts. They're talking about saving money, and then they're out here making them tear up the race car.
I don't care what
race package.
I don't care what Dangle says on the internet. Shut the hell up.
All right.
Thanks, listener. Thanks, dedicated listener Dangle, for listening. Don't listen to Zach.
But I let them use their backups so they don't tear anything up. We're not out here to actually practice for Richmond race. We are here. This is just a test session to see what happens in the rain when we put the cars on the track.
Yeah, I guess.
Just to get an idea. I think that'd be better than, all right, we're at a race, going into turn one the first time. Good luck.
Go. New Hampshire, round 2.
Which way would help the sport look better? And I don't want to see a clown show situation where we all just go into turn 1 and everybody's like, oh God, there's no grip.
Yeah.
It'd be fun though. Just everybody flying in. We saw it during the All-Star race one year. So fuck it, why not?
Yeah, I know. Yeah, like someone said, New Hampshire round 2, we get Kyle Busch turning the pace car again.
That was a great moment.
That was good time. There's something I wanted to say off of what you were saying, Andrew, but I can't remember what it was now.
Hate when that happens.
Isn't that the worst? Anyway, I think I'm hopeful. This is a must watch for me. I know, like you, Zach, I'm not writing it off as a banger immediately. But Bristol, like, I had other stuff going on. I didn't prioritize getting back home in time to watch the race. But this one, I'm like, clear my calendar because I'm expecting it to be a good race. Again, not writing it off as a banger yet, but I'm expecting it to be good. And here's what I was going to say. As the local NASCAR homer, I like to see NASCAR. Don't shake your head too much there, Zach. All right.
What?
Yeah, you don't have to agree with that too much, okay? But I think I like to see NASCAR actually listening. I know we give NASCAR a lot of crap for they don't listen to fans, but I mean, we talked about how bad the short track package was. I think NASCAR heard that and saw that and then made changes to try to fix that. And so far we've seen it work. I mean, Richmond was a substantially better race than it has been years prior. Coda was great. So I have high hopes for Martinsville, but it was cool to see them make changes in the off season to the package for short tracks and road courses to try to make it better. So I'm excited for Martinsville for sure. Don't know if anyone else has any thoughts on that. Joe, what do you think about Martinsville?
I'm excited. Kind of just echoing what you said, but kind of our first proper short track in my eyes. Hopefully we get some beating and banging. And
passing.
And passing, yeah. Yeah, we saw a lot of passing at Richmond, so that's a good omen, and we might get some meme rain race action, which would be interesting.
Be great.
I am excited for that, I think. As long as it doesn't affect my guys. But yeah, I'm excited for Martinsville.
I love the contrast here. Zach's like, when you're talking about cautions coming out there, Zach's like, well, like, bias aside, I just want to be consistent, like trying to get rid of his bias. She was like, well, I hope my guys are winning it. If they're not, I hope it race nobody want to wreck.
As long as it's
That's
better.
why we call him a homer.
As long as it's better than the A fix I just ran, which was 45 out of 75 caution laps. We don't want that, of course, which it won't be. These guys are better than 1.5 strength of field. But
I wish Martinsville and iRacing was better because as a track, I love Martinsville.
It's so fun to race.
It is so fun.
It's so fun to race, but no one knows what they're doing.
Idiots. I know. It's the silly,
and
and it was, and there weren't even there weren't even like there were only like 2 big-ish wrecks. Everything else is just like a single car spin. It's like, guys, come on. It's not super hard to drive.
You know what my nightmare is? If I was ever in a Martinsville race with the world's angriest iRacer.
Oh.
Adrian, that's a nightmare waiting to happen. I hope we're never in Martinsville.
I love Martinsville.
Are we running NIS
yeah,
this
we
week?
know you do because you like to screw everybody.
I am probably not doing
Timmy
NIS.
Hill. Timmy Hill said that I was a wheel man and I am driving the hell out of the car, and he rated me back in 2020, whatever.
Hang the banner.
Yeah, man. Like, I love Martinsville. I avoided on iRacing because I am supposedly the world's angriest iRacer.
I found out why I avoided at 8 o'clock Eastern tonight when I did that. Yeah. I'm not getting back that hour of my life.
I will say, in the new house, we switched the carpets that we have in here. This new carpet, I can't scoot my chair at all. So I'm excited to do some iRacing on it, because I can actually hit the pedals without worrying about my chair sliding out from underneath me.
There you go.
I'm pretty excited.
Do Martinsville NIS Thursday with me.
Absolutely
not. 10K oval rating, here he comes.
I just always think of good old Jordan Worth pitting 100 times. Was that 100 times? And did you see that? Did 100 pits in a Martinsville race? He's like, I'm just going to pit 100 times, pit 100 times, or something some crazy number like that, and ended up finishing top 5. Incredible. Anyway. Martinsville. I'm excited. We'll see how it goes. Do you want to move on to kill count?
I got one quick comment.
Yeah, good.
Uh-oh.
Who makes these schedules for NASCAR? I don't know. We had Richmond, then Bristol, now Martinsville. Short track. And okay, Bristol was dirt, but still short track.
I feel like that's been a thing for a while, though.
I know. I don't know. I think
spread them out a little bit. Yeah.
Yeah, change it up a little. All right.
Push Bristol out to the summer. That's how you do that.
Do we even do kill count this week?
I don't even know.
So gosh, I'm
Should we
trying to
give
think.
Larson one for wrecking himself?
Yeah.
Yeah, he did kill himself.
You can give
feel
him
like-
2 because he broke Priest's toe leg.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like there's a
Yeah.
lot of self spins this week. Was a lot of the
Mhm.
wrecks.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
Joey
Chase
running
Briscoe.
into. Do you want to count Joey and Bubba? Because I mean, Bubba was already
Oh,
sideways,
yeah.
but I don't know if he was fully wrecking until Joey
Well,
got into him.
wasn't that
Byron
would
kind
that
of
be
pushing
on
into
Byron?
it though.
Byron got
No.
Joey, and then wasn't Todd in that too, or was that not because of?
I mean, if anything, you'd have to put that on Bubba because Bubba
Yeah.
over-rotated and nobody had anywhere to go.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you can't
Give
really
Bubba
check
3.
up real easily on dirt. So
Joey was trying to, and then Byron was behind him and just
yeah,
Cordy and stuff.
Yeah, Joey wrecked out eventually. So
let's
bummer
just
for
put
him.
on Joey. It feels like Joey's fault.
I'm
Yeah.
cool
Yeah,
with
we'll just give it to Joey. Fuck it.
it. I tried
Freaking-
fighting for
dude,
How
Joey.
many were in that wreck? 3?
Joey's are the
Think so.
worst.
I
Yeah,
have,
anyone with
did
Joe
that.
in their name is just.
It's true.
yeah, the worst.
The worst. Yeah, I hate him.
I can't really think of anybody else except for the whole.
Did you put Chase
Priest
Briscoe
thing.
on there?
No, I didn't. Who'd Briscoe?
We got Blaney.
Oh yeah, that
Oh,
was
that's
at the
right.
end.
We got that. We got I'm gonna give Larson one. Another one. I think he deserves it.
Yeah, you fuck him.
Because fuck him. That's why.
You know what?
But the
We
kill
better
count
wrap
has
it up.
become less of an official thing and more of a how much do we not
more,
like
of, more of a
certain
vibes, you know.
people.
I mean,
Fuck this guy.
Slowly divulged into just pure bias.
The
I mean,
integrity of it
nobody's
may
touching Joey
be
at
in
this
question.
point.
Take all the kill count away from Hendrick, guys. It doesn't matter. What appeals court has ruled no Rex
Yep.
Hendrick's fault. So go
Not
ahead.
one. Not
Go ahead.
ever.
Take Byron
It's
off
true.
the
Oh,
list.
Larson's at 0. Yep.
Yeah.
Byron 0.
Well, except for Larson, we can keep him up there.
Oh, Larson has 15. Oh, it's been changed. It's now 2.
Dumb.
All right. I haven't really looked at any bets this week either. I'm going Hamlin, man. After listening to his podcast this week, he said the next 6 weeks he's going to be there. Talladega, I have my own doubts. But
Yeah.
Martinsville, yeah, I can see him being up there. I don't know. I know we were talking about Bowman a little bit. I don't hate it, but I want to see some practice speeds if we even get practice.
Yeah.
What is Bowman? Plus 2,000. I don't hate it.
Sprinkle a little
Hamlin
bit
plus
on there.
700's a little low. Yeah, I'd sprinkle a little bit on Bowman. Harvick usually runs pretty well too. He's plus 2,000. So I don't know. Those would be the guys I'd be looking at, but it's way
Yeah.
too early to tell.
Survivor
Okay.
pool time.
Survivor
Yeah,
pool
it's cool.
time.
Tell us about it, Zach.
Yeah, how we do this week, Zach?
So Drake won last week with old C-Bell. You know,
Let's go, baby.
I don't like losing, but I'm okay with losing with that one. So he lost he won with C-Bell, who obviously won the race. I was second with Briscoe, who came in 5th, and then Joe and Andrew were a little further down the order with Ryan Priest for Joe, who finished 24th, and then Andrew with Davenport, who got 36. So Andrew, you're up first.
Yeah. Freaking dirt ringers not doing anything. Let's go with Denny Hamlin this week.
Denny Hamlin.
All right.
Just talked about him.
I'm taking a wait and see approach on him. I know he's calling his shot and all excited about it and everything, but he's just been
He's been all
like
top.
after Richmond, like it was just I have the car to win, I have the speed to win. I don't want to win. It's how many different ways can I throw away a race in a single event? So like I feel like Denny's biggest problem is himself or like teams, like not just Denny, but like the team in general. Just they love to just find different ways to lose a race.
Fair.
Just like Blaney last year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Damn Casey Kane.
Did Austin take the overall lead this week?
I think I
He
already
took
had
it
it.
last week.
Yeah.
It did extend a little bit. Yeah, I guess we'll go over
Not
that.
by much.
Austin has 23 points. I'm in second with 21, and then Andrew and Joe are tied at 18.
Ouch.
Can't believe
I gotta get back in the game here.
Yep. All right, so DH for Mr. Andrew. What do you got, Joe?
I'm going with Bowman the Showman.
Bowman
dang
is
it.
showman.
Dang it.
First Hendrick pick of the year.
That's what I was
So
going to go with.
good
Is
track
that
for
true?
him.
We're fact checking right now.
I'm 98%. I don't think I've taken Chase yet, and I've not taken William
look at that.
or.
I still remember when I went,
Yeah.
was it 2021? Went to Martinsville with B. Hicks, and we're sitting there, and like Bowman does the whole thing with Denny, like punts him out of the way. I remember we had the little intercom radios, and we're keying up, and I go, I really hope Bowman doesn't win, just so Denny goes after him and like wrecks him after the race, something, because he's not going to do that if he wins. Lo and behold, Bowman wins, and Denny still goes after him. So
You gotta love Denny.
you gotta love it, man. I still remember that. Brian still tells me, he's like, I remember when you said, hope he doesn't win because he's not gonna go after him if he wins. And then lo and behold, there we go. So that's one of my favorite memories. So Joe stole my pick. Screw you, Joe.
All right. So then it's me, I guess. I'm gonna go with old Willie B.
Good pick.
At Hendrick Power. He won this last year. Feel good about it.
Gotta get those points back.
He
Yeah.
does, yeah.
Yeah, just gonna be driving extra hard.
Mm-hmm. Mr. Drake, who you got?
You know, I feel like I just gotta do this for the culture. After the legendary Hail Melon first race back at Martinsville, got to go with old Ross. You know, obviously you can't do that again, but I just feel like for the culture, it's gotta be the pick. You know,
Not a bad pick. I don't think he was doing too bad.
He wasn't doing too great either. That's why I had to do that. So not a great pick.
He wasn't
but
where he needed to be.
It wasn't where he needed to be. But we're going with it anyway, just because I don't know who else to pick because Joe stole my pick. So anyway, well,
All right, perfect.
that's about it. I think. Anyone else got anything they want to throw in there?
We gotta do OnlyFans.
Oh yeah, OnlyFans. Andrew.
Yeah,
Any
we got a
questions
couple
this
questions this week.
Oh heck yeah.
A couple of them.
Lay it on.
We got one from Richie. This one's kind of.
No, skip it. Next.
Okay.
Skip.
This one's from so this one's directed towards Zach a little bit.
Ooh.
What?
Oh.
I'm sick of you guys bashing Noah Gragson. He has matured on and off the track. Meanwhile, Zach praises Christopher Bell, who can't watch a replay. Whose driver needs to grow up, Zach?
Have we talked about Noah this year?
I feel like we haven't talked about Noah very much. Come on,
No.
Richie.
So Noah's either wrecking people or he's not in the news. Good to know. We'll
I
file that away.
will say just before you say your point. I will say I feel like Noah has matured a lot.
Yeah, a lot of times passed since he wrecked 17 cars at Road America. Was just last year, so he's definitely grown up.
Yeah, that's true.
You know,
I don't know how
When
much
you're
he's grown up. I mean, he's not up front, and he's
no, he's not
That's
fighting
true.
for anything. I mean, it's easy to look calm, cool, and collected when you're out there with 33rd.
I mean, the only thing
Nice.
we see is him giving away Wendy's to people in the press box because he's not getting interviews. So he's like, "Hey, put me in the news."
I take some Wendy's.
So
Yeah.
Yeah.
Go for Frosty right now.
Oh, don't tempt me, Joe.
Ugh,
I'm tempting you.
that does sound good. I haven't had a Frosty in forever.
Oh.
But I mean, I don't know. I wasn't exactly excited about the way Christopher Bell responded to the Ross Chastain thing, but they shoved cameras in these guys' faces before they ever see a replay and look for reaction. So I mean, you're gonna get some bad takes. He's not the first one to give a bad take after an incident before watching a replay. He won't be the last. So I don't know. I think
Christopher Bell won a race.
he did win a race. So there's
He
that.
did.
So I'll be sure to consider your point and your question, Richie, when I am ordering my race to win diecast this week. So
He's won like the last 4 or 5 races for Gibbs too.
I mean, how many
Fun fact.
How many times have you gotten in a wreck in iRacing? Any of us gotten in a wreck in iRacing and gotten pissed at the guy?
100%,
And go
we
back
all
and
do
watch
it.
the replay. You're like,
that's why
Never
I
mind.
always laugh whenever you see people on Twitter like giving drivers a hard time about getting mad about being in a wreck. Like I have seen people rage in bottom split races with absolutely nothing on the line. Like these guys are out here racing for their livelihoods. Of course they're gonna be pissed off. I want them to be
Right.
pissed off.
yeah.
So it's whatever. I just think they'll just I don't know. There's a predisposal to blame Ross for everything. We all know that.
Hashtag thank Ross.
Yeah, which I wish he would have gotten out of the car and said thanks, Ross,
Yeah, I know.
after he won. That would have been great.
Thanks for-
But yeah, thanks for the terrible question, Richie. Appreciate it.
I thought it was a great question, Richie. Thank you. Send in more.
Thanks for listening, Richie. Okay, next question's from Dangle.
Oh, boy.
Skip
Moving
this
on.
one too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
skip that one.
Dangle's question: who is the best purely mid-pack driver of all time? Only a couple wins at most, but is loved and respected by the fans and their peers on pit lane and their fellow drivers. Sterling Marlin comes to mind.
That was
Ward
part of his
Burton.
question. Was Sterling Marlin, or was that your answer?
That was his. Sterling
Okay.
Marlin comes to mind. Ward Burton's mine.
Michael Waltrip?
Yeah, I
Yep.
feel like Mikey's got some precedence to him, though. You know,
I mean, he did win the 2 Daytona 500s, but like outside of that,
He does have a big loss column.
yeah,
That's very true.
I think he went like 429 before he got that first Daytona win.
yeah, something like that.
So yeah,
I mean, but I think he fits in here. I mean, he's got only a couple wins, and he's respected by his fans and the pit lane and all
The
that.
grid walk, we love that
I mean,
so much.
well, I mean, it just seems like that's basically the Fox curse, right? Everybody loves the guy until the Fox puts him on the camera. They're like, all right,
Yeah.
well, fucking think of you. I mean, Clint would be a good example. I don't think
Yeah.
of Clint as like a, it's hard for me to really say any of those older guys because I didn't really watch that much back then. So I would probably say a Clint Boyer probably would have been that.
Right.
Now that he's on the broadcast, he's a little much, but I think everybody liked Clint.
It's like don't meet your
back
heroes kind of thing.
Yeah. But I think they put him in a position he's trying to be somebody he's not really,
Right.
and all that stuff. So I think Clint's one.
Or is you take the lovable part about him and then make that everything about him that no longer becomes lovable. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, he always had that kind of funny personality and stuff, and I like that about him. But when that's his only shtick, it's like,
Right.
okay, shut up, Clint.
Right.
Trying to think about like current driver.
Current driver would probably be, I'd have to say Corey LaJoy. At the very least, he
Yeah.
has the respect of the drivers, which
Right.
It's
I
good to
take
have, yeah.
above what any fan says.
I think
Because
yeah.
we don't know what the hell we're talking about most of the time because TV
Whoa,
doesn't show.
whoa.
I'm sorry, I'm a
we
professional.
do. I wasn't meaning us. I was
I
meaning
mean,
we, like
have a
As a
fans
NASCAR
in
fan,
general.
Now,
Yes.
obviously, we know everything we're talking about. but
This
everyone else.
this small segment is, we know what we're talking about. But
Right.
like people always say, oh, this person's not fast or whatever. There's so many factors. Corey is in crap equipment, better, but still not Hendrick stuff. And he's up there mid pack, and he races respectfully. I think he races. He does have that race me how I race you thing. I think. But I just think I noticed a lot of drivers talking about it with a lot of respect and respectable drivers like your Dale Earnhardt, your Denny Hamlins, your Kyle Bushes. Like I've heard a lot of people say good things about him. So I'd say modern current driver Corey.
Yeah. I agree with that.
How about you, Drake? Who's your guy?
Golly, man.
Dale Jarrett.
I mean, honestly, he has too many wins though to fit that category. I mean, he has a championship. You know what I mean?
I don't even know how many wins Clint Boyer has. Fun fact. So
Does he have any?
he might not qualify. He's got a few at least.
Yeah.
I'll look it up while you're talking.
Yeah. I mean, Dale Jarrett to me doesn't quite fit that category, but also kind of does. Like when you think about the greats of NASCAR, you don't necessarily think Dale. I do obviously think Dale Jarrett, but like majority of people don't think him. But I feel like he's someone that people do listen to, like when he's on, like when he is on like that, whatever, like NBC, like podcast or like a little show they have him on, or when he's doing like the pre-race stuff. I feel like people do respect what he says a lot of times. Because he was like good enough to know what he's talking about, but not like thrust in the limelight as much as like a Clint Boyer was or something. And so I feel like he does have a lot of respect for a guy that's not generally thought of as like, and a great of that era by most people. Like when they're thinking of that era, they're thinking of like the Petties or Richard specifically, not so much Kyle, but like or a Earnhardt. You know what I mean? It's like those are the names you're thinking of. We're thinking of that era, so he kind of he falls a little bit in the shadow of those guys. But I don't know if I call him a mid-pack guy in the height of his career. Definitely towards the end, but that's the first thing that kind of came to mind as far as that goes.
He was kind of a weird driver for me growing up, watching him, because I mean he had like 5 years of really good, upfront racing, but a lot of his career was kind of the mid pack 10th place ish run.
Right.
But yeah, like the late 90s, I mean he was up there almost every week. So.
Yeah.
I don't know. I see what you're saying, and yeah, he probably wouldn't really fit the mold here.
Right.
According to Racing Reference, Clint Bowyer was in the Cup Series for 16 years and has 10 wins out of 541 starts.
I'd call that fit
pretty
the
mid.
category. Yeah.
That's
Average
better than Kyle
finish
Petty.
15.6.
That's true.
Kyle Petty.
We said mid pack, not backpack.
Andrew, who's yours? Did you
Lord.
get one?
Yeah, I said Ward Burton.
That's right.
Yeah, he did.
okay,
Yeah.
cool.
Any more
That's good.
OnlyFans?
I really like that question,
Yeah.
Dangle. Thank you for that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we actually have
Better than
two
Richie's.
more.
Oh, sweet.
Ooh, Moss.
Oh,
Two more
Los
questions,
Moss.
both from Brandon here.
Sweet.
This one's for Joe.
Oh boy.
Who's your favorite current driver that has no relation to Hendrick Motorsports?
Ooh. Okay.
Kyle Busch. Okay. Next question.
Easy.
no JRM.
Honestly, and it's probably Drake's fault, but I don't mind the FRM guys. I don't mind Mikey
Let's go, baby.
that much. He's or maybe I don't know Ryan Blaney. I don't mind him either.
Yeah.
So
Only one of those
There
guys
you go.
at Daytona 500 to win, though. So.
well, he doesn't
All
have
right,
a
and-
championship though.
Yeah,
It's
the
All right.
next question.
What?
Who would
Next
you
question. Next question.
Who would you each like to see run the Project 91 car?
Ooh.
Daniel Ricciardo.
Yeah. I won't
Easy
steal that
answer.
answer, but that is a great answer.
Valentino Rossi for me.
Okay.
Yes.
Sebastian Vettel.
Yeah.
Because he's German. I've been in Germany before. I don't know if y'all knew that. I went there once.
Really? I never knew.
Deutschland.
No, it's never been mentioned.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad you brought it up, actually. Cause
Closet European here.
watching a soccer game. I'm sorry, football game. But
Maybe Alonso.
ooh.
Yeah.
Ah, that's good.
So-
That'll have to wait until after he's done, though. Sadly.
Yep.
Did you guys see Max's comments this week about the sprint races and how if they kept doing them that he wouldn't be in F1 too long?
Really?
I
Yeah.
saw something. I
Keep
didn't really
doing
read
them,
into it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Do them every week, actually. In that case.
I mean, let's be honest. The money in F1 is stupid. So
Oh,
he's not
You ain't going
anywhere.
anywhere.
No, he's just talking smoke.
Yeah.
Yeah.
100%. It's so funny. My Formula One fandom is purely based on who's winning the most because I just don't cheer for those people. I hated Vettel when I first started watching Formula One because that's when he was like peaking, like had won like a few in a row or whatever it was. And then I hated Hamilton because he had won so many in a row. And now I hate Max. And now I'm like, I want Hamilton to win. So it's so funny. My F1 fandom is purely against whoever's constantly winning, and that's always someone in Formula One.
It's just how freaking F1 is, though. Like that's like, the elitists are so funny. Like, bro, I can probably have a good guess at how your series is going to go for the next 5 to 10 years, based on
Based on
who's
the
got the
first
hot car
race,
right now.
Based on
Right.
the first race of the season, you can say, oh, okay, they're going to be.
You
good
could
for the
usually
next
have a
5 years.
decent guess, at least 2 to 3 years out
Yeah, right.
Mhm.
of what your sport's going to look like. So that's the problem. You have these long stretches of dominance that just get tiring. Fucking Hamilton, 7 years. My God,
Yeah.
Go pick up golfing or something.
I as much as I am against that finish of last year, I like that no one has 8.
Yeah.
I like that. It's almost like a curse, like a 7 curse.
It really is.
You know what I mean? Like I think about that a lot. That you got Richard Petty, Dale Earnhardt,
Gordon.
Jimmy Johnson. What? What'd you say?
Jeff Gordon.
Jeff Gordon. Yeah, right.
Yeah, it's a curse. I mean, they
Yeah.
had to change the point system so he didn't win 7.
Yeah. Lewis. I mean, I'm sure.
They had to do that
like,
when he only
obviously, you
had
have John
3.
Force, who's won what? Freaking, as I wear
How many
my
ships
NHRA shirt, but he's got like
4.
50 something championship
4.
wins. John and obviously like in some form of motorsport that's broken, but for like a lot of like mainstay ones like NASCAR, Formula One. Yeah,
How about John Force?
Dude, he blows my mind. How old is that guy? He's like
He
I'm gonna
was
look
in
this
that
up.
wreck last week. I was like,
Yeah.
holy shit, he's
He's
still
dead.
racing?
Yeah, right. Like, really? It's crazy to me how he literally the grand. Hold on. Let me finish my point before I get to this. But like normally, like I mean the Jimmy Johnson Southern Tunnel, you know that got named like after once he was finishing up and all this stuff. You know, like a lot of these names for these corners, whatever, is after these guys retired. John Force has the entire like half the grandstands at Charlotte at ZMAX Dragway 4-wide drag strip in Charlotte are the John Force grandstands. Like he's like Dale Earnhardt if Dale Earnhardt had his status while he was still alive. Like it's crazy to me. And I want y'all to guess the year. Guess how old he is. We'll just go on that. Now we'll do the math on what year he was born. How old is he?
72.
Oh God, no! I'm thinking like 53.
Joe?
I genuinely have no idea.
60.
73.
Dang.
Nice.
73, and he is going 300 miles per hour in a funny car. He was
Oh,
born.
wait, he's 73 years old?
Yes,
Or-
he was
Oh,
born.
okay, that was the year.
He was born 4 years after World War II ended.
Good night,
He was
dude.
born in 1949, and he is driving cars at 300 miles an hour. Oh, insane.
Yeah.
Insane.
Yeah, my guess was what year he was born, not how
Okay,
old
not
he
his
was,
age.
so.
Yeah, he's
Yeah.
old. That blows my mind. Anyway,
73. That's good for him.
good for him, man. Good for him. Anyway, what a time. Talk about high downforce or high horsepower. Those things.
Yeah, let's get some of that in there in NASCAR.
Yeah. You know what? Put a top fuel on an oval track.
Let's do it.
Let's run that. See how that goes.
Here lies John Force.
You ain't making it
One
to 74.
Oh my goodness. Well, I think that's about all we got for this week. Thank y'all for listening as always. If you want to submit an OnlyFans question, Andrew, how do they do that?
You go to the website, thegwcpod.com.
Beautiful. Forms on there. Also, make sure to follow us on Twitter at the GWC Pod. We'll be posting the video for this on YouTube. Probably be live streaming these in the future too. On that YouTube channel, TBD on the name, probably just the GWC Podcast or something's the name of it. Green White Checker Podcast, something like that. But be sure to check us out there. But really do appreciate y'all listening. Be sure to give us a rating too. I know that helps a lot on a lot of these podcast platforms. You just want to give us a rating and write a quick review. It would mean a lot to us, help us get a little more out there. But really do appreciate y'all listening and hanging out. So we'll love to see y'all some more questions. And anyway, yeah, thanks for listening, and we'll see y'all next week.
See ya.
See you guys.
Later.
I love you.